Hello, my name is Raneem, and today I'm going to be talking about temperament, physiology, and change over time. So, this topic stood out to me because it helped me understand how early biological differences shape development. And throughout this slideshow, I will be connecting what we learned in the emotional development lecture to my own experiences and even my brother's. So, what is temperament? As we discussed in the lecture, temperament refers to relatively enduring individual differences in emotional reactivity, activity level, and regulation. One thing that was emphasized is that temperament appears early in life and has a biological component, but it is not the same as personality. Importantly, temperament does not determine outcomes, it predicts tendencies. So, in other words, it sets a starting point, not a final destination. The lecture highlighted the work of Jerome Kagan, who studied infant temperament by observing physiological reactivity. So he looked at things like motor reactivity, crying, and how infants responded to new or unfamiliar situations or stimuli. Kagan found that some infants showed much higher levels of reactivity, while others were calmer and less emotionally intense, known as low reactivity. As explained in the lecture, temperament is closely linked to physiology, including nervous system sensitivity and stress responses. Highly reactive infants require less stimulation to feel overwhelmed. This helps explain why some children, as they grow older, may become more cautious or shy, not because something is wrong, but because their nervous systems respond more strongly to stimulation. When I reflect on my own early development using what we learned in class, I would definitely describe myself as a highly reactive baby. I was overstimulated, easily upset, and cried and fussed a lot. At the same time, though, I was pretty curious and exploratory and socially engaged. And I feel like this shows what the lecture emphasized, that high reactivity does not mean a lack of interest in the world. High reactivity can coexist with curiosity and engagement. And as I grew older, I became more calm and shy, especially in social situations. According to Kagan's findings discussed in the lecture, highly reactive infants are more likely, though not guaranteed, to develop a more inhibited or cautious temperament later in childhood. One explanation we learned is that ongoing physiological sensitivity means that less stimulation is needed to feel emotionally aroused, which can make social and novel situations feel overwhelming. What makes this especially interesting is how different my brother's development was from mine. As a baby, he was very calm, quiet, and easy for my parents, which reflects a low reactive temperament as described in the lecture. So as he grew older, he actually became more extroverted, spontaneous, and socially outgoing, way more than I am. And this aligns with the idea that low reactive infants are more likely to develop outgoing temperaments, but again, not in a fixed way. So, looking at both our experiences together really illustrates what the lecture emphasized about development. Temperament has biological roots, but development is not fixed. Things like environment, experience, and learning all shape how temperament is expressed. This supports the key idea from the lecture that temperament predicts probabilities, not outcomes. This example directly links back to the course's themes. As discussed in lecture, temperament does not act alone. It interacts with caregiving, context, and development. Children adapt to their environments over time and develop coping strategies. Seeing two very different developmental paths within the same family really reinforced how biology and experience work together. So, learning about temperament helped me understand that early behavior is not a problem to be fixed, but an overstimulated or reactive baby does not mean something is wrong. It reflects how the nervous system processes the world. My development and my brother's show that biology matters, experience matters, and development remains flexible. Temperament doesn't decide who we become, but it shapes how we experience the journey. Thank you very much.